Hello, everybody. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody for joining us. And well, as you can see, things have gotten a little bit sporadic and a little bit out of control once again. And I have several announcements I want to make to each and every one of you. But before we do that, very important things I have to first of all do, if just for the sake of uh, clarity and stuff like that, is that we are going to be giving this place a bit of a sort out. So first of all, um, let me just update thing. There we go. Okay, so first of all, hi everybody. Thank you so much for coming down. And there are well, first of all, it's more or less indignant of what you're looking at right behind you, and I will explain to all of that right now. So here's sort of what this is all about. You see, what I did yesterday is that I purchased a brand new gaming PC. And you know what I'm going to do with it, ladies and gentlemen? It is specifically for streaming and gameplay only. So, in order to actually sort of remodel my streaming profile, what I'm going to do is that well, what I already did is that I purchased an Elgato internal 4K a hard capture card for it. So we should be able to actually stream proper, like do an actual proper stream. I booted the PC up last night, which basically meant having to undo all the wires, reassert them for when streaming begins. Um, and basically downloaded all the games that I needed. So it's essentially like a brand new start, and I like that. It gives me the impression that we're really going like we're going to do this, and streaming is pretty much exactly what we're going to be doing from here. Well, at least on the channels in question. Now, with that being said, that's only one step of the things that have changed around here. So let me explain to you guys exactly, among other things, that have changed. Now, what you're seeing behind you is that, well, it all started when the election results came in, and, well, quite a number of things changed. Now, to start off with, I rejoined the British Labour Party for about the fourth time now. So now I could proudly say that, well, I know absolutely we're on the winning side, and well, it's sort of up to me now to conjure up ways of trying to make a huge transformation in this country. And I know it's a big ask, and well, it's possibly even a lot on the ideas of like one person. But here's like among other things we did is that I always wanted to be able to do it and to actually start bulking up, bulking up proper and stuff like that. So what we started off with is that on about 2 days ago, I purchased one of these, like an actual, like an applied nutrition and an actual protein shake bottle. So you got your bottle there, and I purchased what they call it, Mutant X is what they called this. Now, well, not this, because this is literally just carb powder, which I'm sort of going to be like having that every other day and stuff like that. But this, of course, is like the big one I want you guys to take a look at. It is, well, I mean, look, it's triple chocolate flavored, and they call it Mutant Dark Series, and you can literally have like 2,500 calories for just two shakes of this, and that's a lot to put into one system. So you're gonna believe I'm gonna be using that to its fullest potential, which I'm really excited about that. And well, it means that my schedule is going to be comprised entirely of, as they say, bulking up, doing videos, editing videos, going to work, more videos, and then it all comes out to you guys. So my schedule is like busier, and it's going to be more full than ever before. So I'm all very, very fortunate to even have that opportunity. But then, of course, comes the really big news. The news that I am going to be returning to doing game live streaming. And it's something that, to be honest, I've always wanted to do since day one, is to actually do like gaming streams on Twitch or Kick or even YouTube. And well, that's where it's all going to go. We are going to do streaming, and we are going to blow the absolute roof off this joint. So, what exactly I had in mind is to first start off with like a lot of like From Software games, because they're always good fun. And what I've kind of always wanted to try before is to do like one of the hardest things you could possibly do as like as a streamer is to do a deathless Dark Souls run, because they are among some of the hardest things that I think anybody can do, and it'll be great entertainment because it's always there's always a sense of excitement that comes about whenever anybody actually does things like that. And well, what else can I say? It's going to be exciting. It's going to be really interesting, because I do know quite a lot of people at my place of work who do like live streaming every so often and stuff like that. And well, considering I'm also the word has gone round that I do stuff on YouTube, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this all plays to the effect of my channel. Like, does it work? Will people come to watch it? Will anybody really come down to watch it? Will I have the same sort of modicum of success I've had previously when doing this? Or is it just going to be like one calamity, one controversy, one after another? Now, technically, I do want to like avoid doing controversies, because I'm not one of those people who actually inherently sees the value in believing phrases like "there's no such thing as bad publicity." Believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, there is such a thing as bad publicity. Because if I was to just do whatever I wanted, if I was to just completely throw the gauntlet out the window and literally do what like Bossman does, and literally just gamble away, lie about going to rehab, just going straight back to gambling immediately after, and then, or if I did things like, I don't know, DSP, where he completely continues to lie about doing gotcha gaming, and he completely like uh I don't quite remember what the word is, to like a stronghold my audience into thinking that they're the ones who are guilty for actually not just allowing somebody to get on with their incredibly toxic gaming addiction. And if I was to do among all the other things that Chris does, as well, be induced into complete arrogance and ignorance about the world, then again, I could literally have done all of those things years ago. But the thing is that I decide not to, because I don't think it makes anybody look good. You can get talked about, yes, but I literally just released a video about Chris and enabling, and guess what? That doesn't not look good on anybody. I don't understand why people honestly would. I mean, I know I've talked to like a bit about like Chris and a logging and his weens and stuff like that, and the people that enable and even worse endorse his sort of behavior. No, that's not the sort of course I want to go down. What I want to do is just relax, kick back a bit, have a bit of fun, do things with a bit of a challenge. I mean, what exactly is like there to be won and gained by doing like like a deathless Dark Souls run? That's like I would think that would be just quite interesting, because literally I would make the case almost known to like my audience that we are not moving on from doing Dark Souls until I've completed the entire game without dying once. And then I'll move on to doing like Dark Souls 2 Deathless. And I haven't even completed Dark Souls 2 yet. I'm not even up to like Drangleic Castle in Dark Souls 2. How on earth am I even going to uh get all the way to, you know, the end of the game before that happens? Dark Souls 3 Deathless will is again same problem. It's going to be difficult, very, very difficult. But then, of course, by the time we come to like things like Bloodborne or possibly even Sekiro, I want to play those games vanilla because I've played like Bloodborne about like the first third. I've never touched Sekiro, and I've never touched Elden Ring either. And Elden Ring is probably among one of the other things that everybody wants. I put even I want to see myself like do Elden Ring, and considering that I may be turning up very late to the party in that regard, but I still want to give it a go because you never know. Considering the success and the widespread praise of Shadow of the Erdtree, I wonder very seriously if by the time I finish like the whole of Elden Ring, like if I defeated like what's it, Godfrey and stuff like that, and then decide to do the DLC, then come back to defeat Radagon, would like the next game be ready by that point? What about even doing some of the that sort of like space mech sort of game that From Software has like development of? Maybe I should check something like that out before we like was it like called Rings of Rubicon or something like that? I can't don't quite know. So that's in my mind is sort of where I'm currently at. I'm primed, I'm focused, and I know that well, I got to do what I got to do. And in order to like convey a little bit about how difficult this probably is, how hard this is all going to be, I have to bring like a few things home to me, the sort of things that I know deep down I have to face and I have to like own up to. The first is that, well, again, trying to get to a. I mean, last week I talked about how hard and difficult it would be for trying to get all the way to America, and I would have to make nearly um, $220 a day just to even come within spinning distance, and for that to keep going. And now what I've done essentially is I've bought an entirely a new PC. I've got myself into basically a very engrossing sort of project in which I have to, well, essentially bulk up and showcase progression. And I've got to contend myself with the fact that how hard I've only just again got to the stage where I'm beginning to suspect that perhaps I've really thrown myself into quite an interesting little a little dilemma right here. I have no idea exactly how I'm going to do it. I have no idea really if any of it's going to work. What I do know, however, is that I have simply got to try. There isn't really an option at this point. I've got to try and do it. And to be honest, the first thing I want to do tonight is give this place a good solid clean. In fact, I'm not even sure. Like, what's like a good way, ladies and gentlemen? If there's anything you want me to talk about, if there's something you want me to see and stuff like that, because I know a lot of people probably weren't very happy about like the video I did about Bossman Jack, and the only reason why I like made that video was to like talk about it from maybe the point of view of the responsibility of a casino's point of view about how they look at people like Bossman Jack. So it may interest some people is that I did actually work on a video earlier this afternoon about, well, the damning the how damning it is for somebody to get involved and to be as addicted as at gambling as Bossman Jack is. Now, I can't really say at this point, maybe before or after, about like where I'm meant to go next. Like do I don't know, do I give away some Yu-Gi-Oh cards as like a signed autograph? What do I do, you know? Because I could like I just dug these out because I had to like organize my closet space again. And well, there's a lot of well, okay, there's a lot of things that are easily starting to fall. Okay, this is already like I've got to find a way to basically to sort all this out. So I know I'll be able to like do this like off stream and stuff like that. Unless of course there's like any value to this. I mean, Light Force Sword. Do you guys want a copy? A Light Force Sword. And these are coming in the card sleeve, by the way. So I don't know if that makes this any more valuable. It probably doesn't, but it is what it is. I mean, I can't even think about how many of these are in here. Like gold gadget, link. Look at all the link like cards I've got here as well. Uh, Invader of there's so much here. I mean, look at all of these. Having a clue what any one of these does. I'm pretty sure none of these have been touched since I bought these like 6 years ago, and well, even probably by this point they're probably out of date. Link Spider, Pentasag, Transcode Talker, Honeybot, another Link Spider, and a Decode Talker. Don't know what any of them do, but I'm sure it's very, very interesting. Invader of Darkness, is that any good? Swamp Mirrored. Well, okay, I finally found something that actually, certainly at the time when I was like really interested into Yu-Gi-Oh as well, Cyber End Dragon. That's more my sort of niche, and also this monster in particular, number 38. Hope. How do you say this again? Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Basically, they started this one out by just giving it a bunch of words, and then they put a number in front of it. I mean, this is before like they could have caught on to the trend of literally putting like hashtag 38 on the front of it as well, and literally everybody would have been okay. But no, it isn't. Hello, Don Opinion. Nice to see you. If you're wondering what we're doing right now, I sort of went over a little bit earlier about the sort of interesting predicament I'm in terms of like how I bought a new PC, basically now on a pretty strong protein bulking diet. Well, it's hardly really a diet. It's basically put about as much protein into me as possible, get myself down the gym for a minimum of about 3 hours a day, and keep working until basically the tires come off. And that's not even going into and that's not even just about the gym. That's just in general. That's how things are going. Link devotee, like what even do these things even do? Is there like a trick I'm missing with these? Or I mean, some of these I do recognize, and I suppose the only reason why I'm even sorting these at all is because I'm pretty sure some of these like got stuck somewhere or other. I mean, Warrior Digrapher has a little bit of like blue tack on the back of it, so there we are. That's that taken care of. I hope everybody's enjoying their Sundays. By the way, it's been an on and off day, and I've been to a Extreme Robots event with my brother earlier today, and I could have literally thrown myself into another situation where I decided I wanted to actually start building robots again. Thunder Ogre, Fire Prison, recorded recoded alive. I thought it said recorded alive. That's a bit weird. Okay, now we're getting into the things that getting into the real ones, the real nuggets of. I mean, some of these cards actually do look pretty sick, to be honest, from what I remember. Probably not all of them. Probably a lot of them are just sort of like very, very esteemed products of their time. But yeah, I honestly can't believe it. That these are probably still high in demand. And Mirror Force Dragon. What do you reckon that's worth, guys? I mean, that could be something I might want to even put out there. Maybe even put like maybe we should do like maybe an auction of one of these at some point. Is that whether or not any of these Yu-Gi-Oh cards are even worth anything? Do people do that like when they that whole craze with Pokemon cards? Do people like auction these things off? I mean, I have no idea, but you never know. These sorts of things don't just happen every single day, and I think I have just about almost completely got my my Cyber Dragon cards like almost in order. And when I say cards, I mean literally, yes, it's some of these, it's almost on par with what they had in the show, as well as the actual the process of how it did. So we got things like Cyber End Dragon, we have Cyber Darkness Dragon, we have Cyber Dark Dragon, we've got Chimera Tech Over Dragon, and we also have Cyber Twin Dragon. Now, I'm pretty sure I've also got things like Cyber Barrier Dragon and Cyber Laser Dragon in here somewhere. I know I definitely have like three Cyber Dragons, Overload Fusion, Cybernetic Fusion Support, Power Bond, Cyber Dark Inferno, Horn, Dark, Edge, Proto Cyber Dragon, Condenser, Limitor, Cyber Dragon, Cyber Dragon, Cyber Dragon, Keo, Cannon, Dragon, more Protos. Okay, so I know there's probably more. I know Laser Dragon is definitely around here somewhere. God Almighty! Imagine the sort of auction I could do if we had things like if I pulled out all the dragon cards I had. Simurgh, Bird of Protection. I mean, I'm looking through these as well, and some of these haven't even been like. I don't think I've even seen any of these since I first got them. Satellite Cannon. God, that's like still one of the absolute best. Red Dragon, Archfiend, Shark Fortress, Ice Fortress, etc. Googly Eyes, Drum Dragon, Crystal Lions, Ryan, Prima, Lockcat, Launcher. How many of these things did I have? Ground Spider. I mean, I'll keep going. I know fine well they're in here around here somewhere. Actually, I'll get the opportunity to like sort these out into decks and stuff like that. Assembly line. Okay, so I'll have a lot of gear cards in here as well, so these can these go back into go in order. Tiger Dragon, Neos, Fusion Dragon, Overload, Scrap, Beetlon, Sage of Silence, Lich Lord, King of the Underworld, Minefielder, Miracle Fusion. I'm surprised I never even thought about the idea of like trying to get like any of the E heroes in that and make them into like a pile, or even like an extremely limited edition Dark Magician. What do you reckon, guys? Would you have him? I think I probably would. Maybe I should like actually think about maybe trying to auction some of these off. I mean, I don't know exactly like what the going rate or value of half of these are, but who knows? Maybe they are worth something a little bit more. Even those are things I've probably not even seen for years. Like even Wicked Avatar. I didn't even realize I even still own that. So okay, let me think. I'm literally going through here and trying to find like my big shinies. Like you can tell almost just at a glance they probably are worth more than the card they're printed on. Well, okay, maybe number 38 can definitely go. Invader of Darkness is pretty much brand new. Like, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll take Light Force Sword out and well, I've got life. Yeah, I'll just take that out and put 38 in. Stuff like that. Oh, by the way, thanks by the way for people still here and stuff like that. To be honest, I've kind of like just trying to think of things to like say outside of what's been happening and stuff like that. So let me get a couple more down. and I had like a lot more card sleeves as well, ready for that sort of thing. Okay, so let's try and sort through this enormous pile and see what we can get. Marauder, no. Valiance Dominator Duke. I don't know if that's any good whatsoever. Ruick Labyrinth Grand Duke. I mean, I think a lot of these are part of like the same thing because are these bent? No, they're not bent. I don't know. It's just the way it is. Vlamand Quick Boost. Well, fragrance. These are ones that are practically brand new anyway. Silent Switch. Duelist Alliance. Pendulum Fusion. Labyrinth Archfiend. Right, okay. Not much to talk about with that. Don't know how any of that came to be. Okay, let's continue. Cyber Dragons. Well, okay, so that's definitely can go back in the pile. Absolute King Jack. Don't know how whenever you could phrase that. Book of Eclipse. No. Labyrinth Barrage is. It literally looks like it just came out yesterday. Astrograph Sorcerer. It's pretty interesting. Valiance Mad Marquis. Depending on what any of these Valiants do, they're pretty much going into. Well, okay, these two definitely aren't because look these two OGs I managed to pull out. First of all, Jinzo, probably one of the most iconic cards that they've ever released, and it's still. I had this like for nearly 11 years now, and it's still in good nick. I must admit, I'm very proud of that. That's definitely going to get its own sleeve, as well as this Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. That's absolutely going to be getting its own sleeve. 2 level 7 monsters. Even for an XYZ cast, that's actually quite. That's not bad at all. Stargazer Magician, I can get its spot as well when I can find a place to put it. Energy Drain, Echo Osculation, Bottomless Trackle. A lot of trap cards I've noticed in this. Impairment, Ice Jade, Erosion, Zexor Alliance, Amaze Attraction, Wonder Wheel, War Rock Big Blow, Flower Cardian Cherry Blossom, doesn't do anything. Heritage of the Salamangarat Blaze Dragon, World Legacy, World Lance. How have I not? How is it I've never even heard of these? Pay. Were these like during like Zexal, or were these like during like even Vrains? Because even my memories of these things are quite good, but honestly, I couldn't even tell you when these things were even released, if any of them were on the banned list, or whether or not I've completely lost the plot entirely as to whether or not even some of these even go in my acclaimed Dragon collection. I know many of these probably will. Solar Recharge, Quantum Cat. Okay, leave those to one side. Hello again, by the way, for people joining us. If you are here, by the way, to want to know what the hell's going on, don't hesitate to ask, because we are currently going through. Okay, now we found like the big ones. First of all, even though I couldn't find like any like. Well, I'll put this to one side. That's for sure. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember I had like the white sleeves specifically put aside for a very good reason, and that's because it's like where I started putting like a lot of my dragon based cards and stuff like that. Champions Vigilance, go in there. Burst Stream of Destruction, and well, here it is. By the way, my own Blue Eyes White Dragon. Definitely, just it's sort of just like the iconic card of the game. Probably just because of its longevity, the reimaginations they've had with it over the years, and the fact that it's still pretty much used in that by a lot of people in this day and age, and it goes all the way back to the very beginning, including things like Fleagrand Dragon definitely goes in there as well. I haven't seen a lot of like cyber dragons or anything like that knocking about. They've got to have gone somewhere. They haven't really left this room, to my knowledge. So let's. Right. Okay. Oh yeah, these ones are much more cleaner. Noyoto, the moral leader. Yeah. I bet. So, let's see. Reinforcement of the army, fire formation, Tensu, Dole, happiness, top share. Again, I know I probably asked this before about whether or not these things are actually worth anything, and I'm probably sure the answer is no, but we'll find a way. Maybe I could like sign some of these off and like I don't know, sell them or something like that. I don't know who on earth would buy them, but you know what? You gotta don't sell yourself too short with these sorts of things. It's just how it goes. Jerry, the runic fangs. Found another cyber dragon, so that's definitely going to go in there. Backup sanctuary, wear off thou, moon mirror shield. Jack Viren can go in there. Wild Heart is found in here as well. Gold sarcophagus, boots staggered, card trooper, Kinkabird. Syncnet recovery, Rider of the Stormwinds, Stardust Dragon. Okay, now now some things I do recognize. Time Gazer Magician. Okay, sorted most of these out, and Link Slayer as well can get in the pile as well. We are sort of like, I'd say about halfway through sorting most of these. When I say sort, most of these are going into the piles that I can sort out later, and certainly more that I at least know where they are and stuff like that. Oh, wait, they're right here. Vader of Darkness. Oh, by the way, hello, by the way, to the lone viewer we have out there, just who might have just got lost in the in all the noise and stuff like that. If you are wondering what we're doing here, is that well, in a bid to like try and sort the sort of mess that we're in right now, I decided to like just talk very briefly about it and to try and organize some of well, I'll just sort through my own little collection right here. I don't necessarily even remember. Again, does anybody have like any reference to when these came out, or am I just like going slightly mad right now? Because I'm in two minds about where half of these should go. Where if I could just, I don't know, maybe autograph some of these and just sell and just sign them for like a quid or something like that. Nah, quid sounds a bit too much. And whether or not it would be even worth just seeing, or maybe I could just like sell these back on like I don't know eBay or something like that. I mean, I couldn't even Dragonoid generator. When did I even get these as well? That's the thing as well. I do remember like owning these at some point, but I can't necessarily explain or even can fathom where I even got to the point about owning any of these. Night Express Knight, Arcvane Dragon, Whitehorned Dragon, Divine Dragon Lord Fleagrand, and of course, well, Dark Magician Girl. Any idea? Look them up so they can. Some of them can be valuable, but I'm gonna say about like 98% of these are probably worth nothing. Um, maybe actually I'll tell you what I'll do. Um, maybe I will open up eBay and see what any of these are worth. I mean, I suppose maybe I could flog some of these and stuff like that. Let me see. Let's just go dark. Let's just see what like the rarity for these are. 2.99. That's just I can't show that on stream. No, no. I'm trying to like look for the one that I have. What's the 652 ultra rare first edition? Okay, here we go. Here's something. MVP one English 56. Yeah, this is exactly the one that I have, and £6 52. That's okay. Maybe we could make a start on something like that. Maybe we could see if there's like value and stuff like that. I didn't even know any of that before even coming into this. What about like the other ones that I have like that ain't good, Nick? Mirror Force Dragon, for example. What's like the value on him? Let's do a little bit of investigating. The value, okay, so 174. So it's like maybe £2 at best, maybe probably not even that. It's basically in very good condition, but I'm not even sure if like that'll make any difference. That's White Knight Dragon. Okay, that's something to worth considering. No, just your bog standard Call of the Haunted could probably be not worth there. There are some here that I know fine well that will not be worth selling at any point, anytime soon. But who knows? It's not always eBay. I can always get these stuff up to. There's bound to be like other places and stuff like that. Dark Assemblyum. Well, there's at least 4 of these I do own, and they're probably as valuable as each other, I suppose. There's not really much there, I suppose. Not much there. Let's keep going again. I have an entire like 500 sleeves of green, I suppose, as well. That's could be used to keep these things in nick. This I didn't even realize that how many more of these are there? I mean, I know they sell these things basically by the bulk and stuff like that back in the day, but a TCG player is the most accurate to value. Okay, TCG player it is. So the most I can see up here um, is another copy of Dark Magician. Let's see how we got that. Let's see if we can do that here. Hmm. Price guide. Okay, so from okay, here we go. $5 for basically the cop. So it's almost like to double the value immediately. According to TCG player. Okay, so that's actually a pretty interesting development right there. I know it's probably going to be like worth considering, and I mean, I suppose I could still put these up on like eBay and probably even put like the price up and stuff. Well, put the price accordingly because that's it's equivalent to the actual value and stuff. Like I don't know exactly if that means anything in the long run. I suppose. Oh shit! What happened to him? I know that pretty much most some of these can be used to just play the game with, I suppose, and it won't really change anything. Battle Frontier, Discoda, Darkhold, Define We Stand. Okay. So again, some of these are definitely going to be like put elsewhere and stuff like that, and keep a condition. Because I don't know, maybe one of these days I could like autograph and sell some of these on and stuff like that. It would just be just as good, just fun, I suppose. It's that's what these things are like for them to be enjoyed for the most part. I found another Dark Magician goal, by the way, another one exactly like the one they had on there. So I don't know exactly in what's Beast King Barbaros. Not bad. Who have we got hiding behind? Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. So it's like the same name twice. So that's fantastic. Great use of space. Diabolos, King of the Abyss. Decoder Torga. More link cards. I've begun to realize that's in this. Jester Confi. And well, would you look at that? Another Blue Eyes White Dragon. This time MVP 1 English 55 edition. So how hard that's I wonder. This has got me very curious about what these things can go for. I'm probably some of these will be close to nothing, but if the second I find out what these things are worth and if it's even worth going out of my way to look into. Actually, you know what? I need to go. I need to go wee wee right now. I'll be right back. Actually, I'm gonna at least while I've got these in piles and stuff like that, I can actually put them back up on my shelf, and these it's a bit more organized. Right. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. So, if you are new here and stuff like that, and you're wondering, sort of like, maybe this is a good time to like explain a little bit about sort of what we're doing here. What was the point of doing this live stream? And that's because I did make a couple of announcements at the beginning of this, but to summarize them a little bit for the benefit of people who have just turned up, is that well, maybe it would be a good idea if I actually showed you guys what I purchased yesterday, because this thing could basically be the turning point in either getting to America or maybe even just staying where I am and being a success of who I am. You see, I purchased an actual gaming PC. And you know what I'm going to use this bad boy for? Specifically just streaming and doing games on. That's everything you need to know about this. And the only thing that I'm not like, the only reason why I haven't actually started yet is because I'm awaiting for my Elgato 4K 60 internal capture card to arrive. Just a matter of putting it in, and well, off we go. It's as simple as that. And basically, the second we get that, we are going to get started like almost immediately. And the first point course of action is literally Dark Souls Deathless. That is basically the very first thing I've always wanted to do with it, and it is what we're going to do going forward. So, once that arrives, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, it'll be all go, because first of all, it's a beautiful thing, this, isn't it? And I love the bun for this as well. By the way, for those wondering, thank you so much, Kanamori Camper, by the way, for saying it is pretty cool. I would say. So it's an MS1 gaming series. Is it by Dragon? Or I can't necessarily. I know I got the receipt down here somewhere and all that. It was basically just what they had in display, and well, the rest is history, I suppose. That's really about as far as it goes. So, providing things go okay and stuff like that, or providing just to see where it goes. Now, the thing is that in order to for me to make these sorts of streams a success, they are very reliant on quite a number of things. The first is that I get the word out. Now, fortunately, I run quite a lot of other channels, and I do have a good hold on social media, so it shouldn't be really that difficult to build up a small audience from summer and stuff like that, if they just willing to catch up and see other content and that. Because like I said, this is specifically for gaming content, and by the time I get this running properly and we can actually do, among other things, including recording games and stuff like that, I'll be able to do an entirely other channel as well, devoted to actually doing videos about gaming as well, talking about them and stuff like that, which is always something I always wanted to do. And it's going to be really interesting by the time we come to this, and we'll see exactly what comes to be. Now, once again, that's just, I'm going to put this back in my closet just for 1 second, because now I kind of want to see where else we can go. So, That's going back in there for now, and we can also focus our attention on just what is inside this white Ultra Pro box. If this is yes, this is where basically a lot of my enormous dragon pile, as I call it, is lurking, and pretty much all of these are in sleeves, which is good for protection, and a lot of these are actually things that absolutely do belong in my other pile. For example, managed to find Fortress Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, so that definitely goes into the Cyber Dragon deck. I found Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So again, what the actual value of some of, because this is like where they got into like the into the belief that if we could just add more things to into like dragons and stuff like that, like what's it like Blue Eyes and stuff like that, then they think like that must make them more valuable. I mean, there's an entire like essays worth of discussion about like the power creep issues when it comes to like Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole, but that's also been talked about by like the Actman as well. And to think, ladies and gentlemen, it was only 2 years ago when Pan oh god, so they could have come up with this a little bit sooner. Are you guys seeing this? Pandemic Dragon. What on earth were they thinking with that? Well, I think they probably were. They knew something they didn't. So Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. $10. And this isn't even, and this is like shiny as well. So out of stock, market price $5-6 at best. That kind of, are you taking video requests? Cool card, by the way. Thank you. I certainly would actually, to be honest. Okay, yeah. First of all, yes, I am taking video requests, and also, sorry, I was caught a little bit off guard because I found a very shiny Blue Eyes White Dragon lurking in my pile. I haven't. I'm not entirely sure about exactly like the value for like what even those sorts of editions of Blue Eyes go for, but we will as well. And then of course you get like again more. They really, a lot of these are just Blue Eyes but with longer names. So this is Deep Blue Eyes White Dragon. Then of course we have like Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. You know, bombs away. Another shiny, by the way. I'm pretty. There's got to be more in here at least. Oh yeah, of course. You can look online for the value. Oh yeah, that's right. Pendulum. I do have like I don't. I know I own blue Pendulum Dragon like somewhere and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure I've like used it a couple of times, and I'm not too certain if like it's pretty much as good as I think it's going to be. And then of course, look at this Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. You can only use this card by ritual summon this card by chaos form. Must be ritual summon, cannot be summoned by other effects. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. So basically, you ritual summon Blue Eyes, and all it gives you the ability to is just do piercing damage. That doesn't seem worth it, to be honest. I think there's a lot more. I mean, Deep Blue Eyes White Dragon. Here's what this does. When a face-up Blue Eyes monster you control is destroyed by battle or opponent's effect, you can destroy. Basically, if you lose a Blue Eyes that is already on the field, you can bring you use it. You can basically make an alternative Blue Eyes. It's more alternative than the actual alternative Blue Eyes. Speaking of alternative, yes, let's. Why on earth would anybody just stock? Who is stocking their decks with literally nothing but Blue Eyes White Dragons? How would you even make these things? in order for these sorts of decks to work, you literally need like one of these. All the rest of your cards to be the ability to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then you have to go through taking video. Guys, would you ever consider doing a video on Daniel Larson's family on the wiki are finished? Yes, I will. Actually, that's a good start. I will certainly. If you want to leave like maybe links and that in the chat, I'll make sure to have them saved, and I can get to work on them as soon as possible. Thank you once again for your patronage and your consideration. They are all very much appreciated because this sort of thing is entirely towards getting me overseas and stuff like that. There are probably better ways of phrasing it than that. I'm not even sure if like that's a good phrasing at all, to be honest. But it's the one I'm using anyway. Okay, so that was yet another box. Well. There's more under here. Self-destruct button, Marauding Captain, Sangan, Curry Bandit, Marshmallow. In terms of cards that people like, I found another Cyber Dragon. In terms of cards that people, actually would use in like actual situations, it's amazing that even amongst my piles of rubbish, there's a link called Family in the Table, the main section. Okay, thanks very much. Also, nice cards. Thank you very much. As I was saying, even amongst all of this garbage, I'm surprised that I have not. I can absolutely tell you one card I definitely do not own in my collection is Waterpon, because who on earth owns Waterpon? Nobody owns that card because it has no use whatsoever, and it never has done, and it never will be. No wonder they banned the thing, because nobody would have used it for one instance. If anyone can like give me any sort of any specific scenario or situation where Waterpon has ever been useful, please let me know, because I'm not saying Waterpon is the most useless card ever made, but in terms of cards that just through ratio and stuff like that, Waterpon is a solid -16, and that's pretty low for everything else. Dear me, I'm like gonna start sneezing like mad again. Actually, I think I'll go through like just the whatever pile I've got right here and that, and I'll stop like sorting through cards and stuff like that. We've been doing this for like nearly an hour and all that, and the only thing I've got to show for it is just well, I've also got this as well. I suppose we'll cover that as well. Some of these are like Lightsworn monsters and stuff like that, and not entirely sure what else I'm meant to be looking for. Valiants, I suppose, but I've read into like quite a lot of these, for instance, and I'm still not entirely sure what like the ratio or even how useful Valiants are. Are Valiants like useful in this game? Oh, and by the way, yes, I actually one thing I definitely do have is the what they did to the duel mat as well. These things, by the way, are just like I have no idea. I have no idea exactly who would design. These things would only be of use to like people who owned a second one of these. So you have Spell and Trap card, but that's where also pendulums go. Main monster zone, field zone, graveyard, deck. Then you got the 2 extra monster zones, which are specifically for X and Y monsters. No, not X and Y, but for Link monsters. I don't know about you, but I think this it looks kind of ugly, all things considered. I've never seen like I think I've seen almost every episode of the original anime of Duel Monsters. I've seen everything in GX except for season 4, which I know season 4 was only like 26 episodes, and it never got outside of Japan. But I have heard some fact, to be honest, I don't even know what people's opinions. I have literally never come across anybody who listed any sort of opinion about GX outside of, oh yeah, that was apart from it being the season that actually ends GX, and where we finally have Judai versus Yugi in the 4-part finale, which is something people have been dying for since GX began, just so people can prove in the playground that yes, absolutely, Yugi is far superior to Judai, which isn't exactly a very fair comparison. But what can you do? People are not particularly very fair about these sorts of things. I've seen about like half the episodes of 5Ds. I know I have seen like 1 or 2 episodes from the season that never made it outside of Japan as well, because, well, 4Kids was almost a complete crapshoot in terms of like what they would distribute, what they wouldn't distribute, among other things. Like, again, how would they go about licensing certain things, and how they wouldn't license some things. And then, of course, again, there's like of course issues with like power creeping and stuff like that. I think I'm just about done like going through all these. A lot of Runix as well in that, which I suppose if you are a fan of Runix, then I suppose it is what it is. Another blue. Is that the same? No, it's not the same. It's not the same Blue Eyes. Okay, and finally, just to put a cherry on top of it, a hero emerges. Saw something extremely shiny in this section. I mean, I'm going to show you guys these, and I need to ask you guys a solid question. Is that just because it's shiny, I mean, does it mean that any of these are any good? I mean, let me just give you an example of just how shiny these ones are. Shining Hope Ray. No, it's Shining Hope Road, okay. Void Trap Hole. Entirely shiny again. Treacherous Trap Hole. Shared Ride isn't exactly, it's not really that shiny. But then, of course, you have number 35, Ravenous Tarantula. I don't know, really. I suppose they look pretty cool, but there was something I neglected to mention, like when Chris Chan versus the Internet was never released due to a ween giving a negative reactions, and the filmmaker being stressed. And wow, nice cards. Thank you so much, Snowstorm the Cats, and thank you, by the way, for joining us as well. It's good to see you around again. Yeah, that's about like roughly half of my actual collection of like actual cards and stuff like that. I tried looking through like TCG Player and stuff like that about through the aid of somebody who commented about how, like, if what the actual value of these sorts of things are. There probably isn't, but you know, to be honest, I've been proven wrong a few times before. And I could have just sold some of these as way as, or given them as some of these away as prizes and stuff like that. But without knowing the actual like value for some of these, or even knowing if it's just one of those things, there must be at some of these have got to be at some point. Nah, nothing worth looking into here. I swear, I'll put this down literally the second. Yeah, that's it. We're just putting these down. Right. Okay. I think NES and Atari games would be worth as much value since they are from the 80s. Yeah, but unfortunately, ET. I'm not going to be one of those people who is literally going to spend a fortune flying all the way to New Mexico just to find that landmass back in the 80s about how valuable or how ET, the extraterrestrial video game, is, because that's basically where like Atari's downfall all began. It all began with that one game that caused the crash, and is what spawned Nintendo and Sega to basically pick up the pieces. And well, it also caused things like uh, no, not Panasonic, but who am I thinking of? Commodore. That's who I'm thinking of. Because they basically folded suit as well, thanks to the Amiga CD32. And I know exactly what you guys are probably thinking of. Is that, oh, wouldn't it be funny if one of the first games I played on my new gaming PC would be literally just buying an Amiga CD32 or buying something like is there another fly in here? Like Kung Fu, just as a joke. Um, I saw it in the. No, I couldn't do that. So it's probably just a figment of my imagination at that point. So let me think. I've got to think very seriously at the back of my mind. So um, that's roughly about like everything I could have covered at this point. Hopefully by this time next week, we would have had at least a good few streams of Dark Souls under my belt. And I've got to think about doing like maybe some sort of like promotional material and stuff like that off my own back about how I could push my game, my Twitch stream and stuff like that. It's again one of the benefits of actually having as many channels as it is that it gives me the opportunity to outreach to a lot of people and try and invest them and see if we could get them on our side to see if uh, if that all works out. Now, the only other thing as well I need to mention is that I did manage to complete my application for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire last week, and well, I just got a confirmation information email back from them saying that we received your email, your application, and it was just that. It was just a confirmation email, and well, all I got to do is like play the waiting game, and I couldn't tell you for any reason as to whether or not I would be deemed successful. Probably not, because um, it's one thing to like try and get on the show, but it's another thing to even get into the hot seat because you got to do fastest finger first, which that could be quite daunting and a bit of a challenge, especially if you're like under pressure. But I think I'd be pretty good under pressure in that sense. It's just keeping your cool and just thinking things logically. You know, it may be a race, but it's a race you can trip up and you wouldn't even have to like open your mouth. Just prioritize going slow and try not to rush anything. That's yeah, that's just, I couldn't think of anything else I need to do. The ET game was seriously infamous. I had to like the game just was delayed. It was nearly passport seriously. Though I think rare TCG and Yu-Gi-Oh cards are too. Yeah. Though I've yeah, well again that's again all dependent on whether or not these things like are valuable or not, or whether or not like they're just it's just like a cool little gaming collection, I suppose, is the word is the what I'm gonna use. It's it's my phrasing. It is what it is. Sorry about this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Just somebody got in touch with me, and I kind of like have to like process a lot of the things that they are saying. So I'll get back to you guys very soon. Thanks for waiting. By the way, it's an honor to say the least. Okay, so didn't need to do that. Hmm. That's it. I always find it kind of interesting as well, was whenever like the views only ever go up whenever I've just stopped talking long enough. That's pretty interesting. Right. Okay. Sorry. Back. Okay. Back to action. Where were we? And if I was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I'd try to keep my cool and pressure, I suppose. Yeah, but there is again. There's always like the contention or the issue about whether or not it will even work at all. So, um, Here's the question I do want to pose to you guys. If I was to start doing Twitch streams, if I was actually just serious about just trying to also try to get my to try to resume doing Twitch streaming after 2 years, would you guys actually want to come down and watch me? That's the big question I want to ask you guys. If I was to start doing Twitch streams, would you guys want to come down and see it? That's like the first big question I want to know. In fact, I'm actually going to put this in my community tabs just to see what's going on, because I don't I literally couldn't tell you about what I thought like the question's going to be, but or what people would think, but it'll be it'll be worthwhile asking. I'll do a poll, by the way. Um, I would not go to Twitch because of some controversies started. Right. Okay. So right. Okay. That's like the first thing I want to put out there. Okay. So let's see. Let's see where this will go. So I suppose maybe Twitch is. I know Twitch goes very back and forth and stuff like that, but Twitch is it's a lot like YouTube. It's the first thing people will think of when they would think of like streams. And would I? And here's the thing: I know I can, unlike people like DSP, I know fine well I could actually behave myself to not cause problems, and we would avoid like controversial things on my streams. If we were going to talk about things controversial, I would have just done on one of my other channels and stuff like that. That's not really what we're doing here. What I wanted to do specifically for like Twitch is just to like, I don't know, play games and just have a good time with it. Now, of course, there are things like, multiplayer games and stuff like that that I could do if there were people out there who would be interested in that sort of thing. Now, I know a lot of people would be interested in like I don't know, maybe doing some things like Mario Kart or stuff like that. That would be pretty cool, all things considered. I mean, even my Switch in the corner of my room is like it's comparatively brand new and stuff like that. And well, we've got to think about at this point. I wish I knew exactly what the right or wrong answers were, because I know deep down, absolutely, it's just something I want to throw my hat back into the ring with. But I also know it could always be problematic. Like, what if things don't go according to plan? What if I had all of this support? What if I had all of these cool ideas? What if I really wanted to push the envelope? What if I had everything ready? I was ready to go. My game runs fantastically. Streams are incredibly smooth. We haven't got the issues with lag, and nobody watches. That's what the issue is. Is that what if everything is ready and nobody wants to come to watch them? I know these are the sorts of things that pretty much have to be ironed out like long before you even have to think about streaming. But well, basically, what I've got to do for like the next couple of days, maybe the next 12 hours before my card arrives, is really ask myself, do I actually know how to do it? Do I really know how I can get myself out there? Do I really know, like, would it even work? Or even the question of, would this thing even take off? and I had any hair left to speak of. Because as you can see right there, ladies and gentlemen, um, I think somebody pointed to me out like last week when I was doing my stream is that I am absolutely forming a bald spot, and it's if anything, it's getting bigger. That's how it again. You can even see it like just when I'm trying to like stream normally. Is that you can see absolutely where like the outline of my scalp is, and it's uh pretty difficult like not to see it now once it's in your mind because my hair it just doesn't grow thickly enough. That's if my hair grew thicker, then this wouldn't be an issue, but it's like literally from this is where it begins. This is where you can actually see my scalp peering through, and then if I just tilt my head forwards, you can see where it slopes to the back of my head as well. And I'm even getting like that bold patch that men in their 40s would get at the back of their head. But I suppose, dear Lord, this is like I could lose my hair before I'm even like 30 for all I know. And well, yeah, I even often say to my family and all that, why would I even want to go get a haircut? I mean, I don't have that much hair left as it is. Why on earth would I want to lose even more of my hair? You know what I mean? It doesn't make much sense. And well, what I've got to think about right now is well, I've got to kind of like put this speaking of weaning, do the weens like to harass and format Chris as enough to make obvious that they're either teens or people who are addicted to Chris? I think the sort of people who do intentionally go out of their way to uh, like troll on Chris at this point, it's well, they do it because they know exactly what they know in their minds what they're doing, and it's kind of sad and depressing in many ways because you can tell almost without really having it to be said that they're just doing it for the meme and they're just doing it because they know absolutely the sort of responses that they're going to get. They're not doing it because they're trying to like they're doing it because they just think it's funny to do that sort of thing. It's crass and it's kind of pointless, all things considered. And I talked about this literally in the video I did earlier tonight. Is that it's not really a good idea. By the way, speaking of other videos that I did earlier today, I released one that I released like a few days early. The one I talked about Chris's uh, PORN addiction and stuff like that. I call it addiction because he does seem to be chronically attached to it, shall we say, which is a little bit too, even for the standards of Chris, it seems like it's a little bit much. Meanwhile, nothing yet again. Okay, so I suppose at this point, the only thing I can really say left is well, it was an interesting venture as well. This the last like 90 minutes, where I've kind of once again told myself time and time again that I know what the answer is. I know exactly what I have to do, and there's not much else to say apart from well, I've just got to do it. So well, yeah, I agree with that. Wasting their lives harassing Chris, and I agree. Cole's brother-in-law received a link to the quickie. Welcome to the world of Chris Chan, which that was stupid. Yeah, exactly. Cole Smithy knows better off. You know that he's putting that behind him, and that and he's chosen the right thing to not get involved, and people have chosen the right thing to not try and get Cole Smithy involved because they know the difference that if you're not going to get a rise out of people like Cole unless you talk about Toy Story 3 or something like that. Now, with all that being said and done, um, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this live stream, and certainly I can't wait to see all of you guys again very, very soon. So take care, and I'll see all of you guys again next time. Thank you.